Hey everybody, how's it going? Bob here. Welcome to a combo tutorial for Jump Force. I know, Jump Force of all things. So, recently I've actually completed my practice run of the game over on Twitch. You can follow me over there. I do stuff on a regular. So, recently I've come to the conclusion about two things. One, this is the usual Spike Chunsoft game. Did tell you absolutely jack and shit about the mechanics of the game. So, I figure, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make a guide for you guys. Consider this a secondary, very late Christmas gift, I suppose. And this is more for archival purposes too. Over the last year the game's been out, we gotten a full season pass of characters, like a whole handful. One of them being on my team, actually, Amadara. And I figure since we're likely to be getting into Season 2, in fact, I think it was recently announced that Season 2 has been cleared, that'll be fun. If anyone's going to be picking this game up, this will be a very good referral point for them to go ahead and learn the game. Since, you know, Spike Chunsoft does not really teach you these things, and I feel like the community is kind of scattered. Or at least the community is very scatterbrained about, like, where centralized content is. So we're going to make this. We're going to be covering combo mechanics from beginner ranks to around intermediate. Not quite advanced because I don't feel like I'm that good yet because I haven't played a game online. But I have been learning enough from various combo videos and stuff that I feel like I can safely make something for you guys as an entry point for this game. So to start, we're going to be starting from the very bare basics, and we're going to be moving our way up slowly. As a disclaimer, we're not covering frame data. We're not covering a lot of like very high technical mechanics. We're going to be sticking straight to damage, what you want to do with it, and how you can achieve it. So, the very first thing, how basic are we going to go with this, Bob? Jump Force is a 3-button fighter. Now, I had to point this out because, again, not really described anywhere, so we're going to be doing it here. So, it's essentially a 3-button fighter. You have your light attacks, you have heavy attacks, and you have a throw. You could argue that the assists and maybe also your dash would increase that button, but on your face pad, you essentially, in terms of your face buttons, you essentially have 3 main options: lights, heavies, and throws. We're going to be making our way up with this. Throws aren't really used for combos. There might be some characters in the game who utilize a mechanic more for their individual stuff, but for the most part, like Dragon Ball characters, Naruto characters, that kind of stuff, they generally stick to lights and heavies, and we'll be mixing up with R2s as we go through. But that's for much later. Now, in terms of the rock basics of getting into the game, if you want a very basic combo in the game, you can just mash the... Okay, so Jump Force has essentially like a pseudo auto combo that you'd find in like Guilty Gear game, not Guilty Gear games. What was it? Persona 4 Arena and Fighters. Essentially, you can just mash the light button and you'll get a decent combo by default. The problem about this is that when you get popped into the chase sequence, it's actually pretty easy to time mashing the R1 button in order to escape the sequence via a high-speed escape. That's why you don't really want to stick this for too long, but in terms of learning the rock basics of how to do combos, you can use this and kind of skirt by the story mode. It's not going to be too much of a problem if you just keep your levels up, but yeah, this is like we have bedrock now. Now going over there, we have the heavy attack. So heavies, as you could probably expect, are stronger versions of your light attacks, obviously. You can charge it, and it'll go through your opponent's guard. I can actually illustrate this because the game at least allows you that much in training mode. Yep, so the Toguro is currently guarding. Hold down triangle, and you'll be able to break through his guard. And now, on top of that, if you were to do 3 triangles in a row, which is your heavies for PS4, you'll do a 3-hit chain off of your heavies. So that's pretty good. Now we have 2 things we can mess around with, and we're going to start having fun with that. Now, one other cool thing I do want to mention is that the 3rd hit of the heavy attack actually puts your opponent into a sliding knockdown state. This is very key for when you want to go for more advanced combos later on, or combo enders. Again, more details as we go forward. And next up for the basics, we have special attacks, which is done by holding down, again, assuming PS4 controls, holding R2 and pressing one of the face buttons. So, you know, you have a Kamehameha with Goku, you have meter combination. And then you have a counter. Every character has at least 3 special attacks and a super they have access to, so you generally have at least some toolkit of what you can actually construct combos off of. You know, actually saying this out loud makes me realize that this whole system of special attacks is kind of very BT3 in its mechanics. Good old Spike. So now, with all this listed, we are going to start getting a little more complicated. So, on top of your light strings, you have access to down light strings and up light strings. The up lights put your opponent into essentially a juggle state. More fun could be having that later. And down allows you to put your opponent into a sort of knockdown right in front of you. Now, both of these can be used to go into like combos and stuff using your special attacks, but yeah, we'll put a bookmark on that one. Now, to open this up quite a bit, Jump Force is actually a very free-flowing game in terms of how its combo structure is set. You can freely chain lights into heavy. So, for example, a very like bread and butter thing is to do like 5 lights into 3 heavies. You can go light heavy. You can go light heavy. There's no real restrictions on these, so in essence, you do actually have a pretty self-sustaining combo system. Like, this by itself will already get you to some pretty decent places. Because again, the chase sequences at the end of the light combo is very easy to escape out of. This, however, not so much. This is a little more tricky, and your opponent's kept on the ground, so a little more advantage to your liking. Now, an even better thing on top of this is that you can cancel any single normal hit into a special. So, for example, I can go like, as a rough example, 3 lights into a meteor combination. I can go like 3 heavies into a Kamehameha wave. This is a very staple one. Or you can do any combination of those, really. You don't have to worry about timing for this one unless you start doing like specific situational combos that requires a little bit of knowledge of frame data. But for the most part, it is super easy to just chain these together, and it's not that hard, really. Now, a fun thing is that some characters have the ability to actually combo out of their specials or put their special in the middle of a combo. Now, for example, Ichigo here, Future Heaven 0, you can actually start a combo with this and then continue afterwards. So, for example, you can do that. You can do this with your light attacks, go into this, and then do more heavy air lights afterwards. This is really cool because it allows a lot of flexibility in how you do your combo structure. Not everyone in the game has the ability to be this flexible with their special attacks, but those that do tend to get some pretty good combo damage off of meter. Now, one other cool thing that I mentioned earlier is that you can actually go from a light attack or a heavy attack into an up light or a down light. Now, I have Madara on my team because it's super easy to illustrate with him. So, for example, we're going to go 7 lights, go into 2 heavies, and then we can follow up with any one of his up or down light strings. Super simple and super easy. I actually feel like the timing for his is super nice and not too hard to fuck up, so I would say it's alright. Also, the trees he spawns makes it especially easy to keep track of, so all the more better for him. Other characters can do this. I just chose Madara because I've been learning his combos, and he seems a little easier to do stuff with than usual. You can do it with Goku, like if you go 5 lights into 2 heavies, into like a down combo. These are just some examples. Again, or you can also do just straight lights into like an up combo. That's kind of cool. Now, with this information in mind, I've already illustrated this once before, but a super easy bread and butter combo with most characters in the game can do this. Is to just like do the basic structure of your light combos into 2 or 3 heavies and then go into a special attack. The sliding knockdown you get off of the 3rd heavy actually makes it super easy to land moves that are normally a little difficult to connect with. For example, like this isn't so much with meteor combination, but it's a little on the slower side. If you were to place that off of the 3rd heavy attack for the sliding knockdown, it is super easy to combo off of it using just about anything. And that's about 30% right there. For essentially a super easy bread and butter, you can just throw it together without researching it all. I would say that's not too shabby. Another note I want to personally include is that the 3rd hit of the sliding knockdown, or the sliding knockdown you get off the 3rd hit, also allows for some very difficult to land combos to land. Like Trunks' Shining Sword Slash is pretty good. There's a handful of other slower attacks that can go off of it. It's really good if you want to tack on some good damage, and normally you can't go into it normally. One decent example is just you can ammo the mirror combination, or you can go straight to Kamehameha wave, because again, Sliding knockdown. That whiffed there because of the corner, but normally that does indeed work. There we go. See, you can do it. It's also a little easier to do Kamehameha Wave too because it consumes 1 meter as opposed to meter combinations 2. Now, what I can liken this to in a weird sort of essence, it kind of comes down to it's something comparable to the revolver system from old Guilty Gear games or BlazBlue games. It's not that dumb easy where you can just press light, medium, slash attack or whatever that one is into like a special attack. But you do have that level of flexibility where you are allowed that sort of freedom, which I would say is not too shabby. You can get some pretty easy bread and butters with this before you start wanting to invest into deeper combo mechanics with this game. Yes, I said this game has deeper combo mechanics. It actually does exist, believe it or not. Now, if you want to start having fun with the combo system, where you can go a little to the town is do lights into heavies, into your up or down combo, into a super. So for example, moderate here can do lights into heavies, into down combo, cancel it early into system no arm. So for example, it would look like this. Yeah, normally System No is a little trickier to combo into, unless you utilize a heavy slide, but using lights into heavies into down combo into System No, you can get some pretty consistent combos going on. It's not the most damage in the world, but, I mean, considering the consistency, it could be way worse. Now, a quick word of warning I do want to give everyone here. This is actually a big thing I want everyone to keep in mind. While it is very doable to do these longer combos in an actual match, it's not practical, and in fact the game actually encourages you to not do them and to do shorter combos. The reason has to do with the stamina system. If you have any stamina remaining, you can do the L1 escape out of a combo, which is the easy mode, like just immediate substitute out of it, like from Storm 2 and stuff. There's no minimum requirement to do it. Like if you burn your L1 and you have no mirror left, all you have to do is just wait until one speck of it comes up, and then you can just pop out of it again. If I could illustrate this in training mode, I would absolutely do it, but if you do this at all against the CPU, you're most likely to encounter this. So it's generally more preferable to instead go for shorter, more damaging combos, or shorter, more consistent combos. On top of the heavy damage scaling you get in this game, it's not really preferable. Actually, I can illustrate that. It would probably be better to do that. Now, an example of the damage scaling that you could do off of the damage scaling you'd get off of a super if you were to do it raw versus doing a combo is something comparable to this. It's a chunk of damage that was done with that. Not the most in the world, but that's going to shrink considerably once you start attacking that on at the end of the combo. Now, compared to the raw super, that didn't do that much more damage, so that's just a comparison for how much damage scaling can affect your overall combo routes in this game. So bear that in mind. The game ultimately rewards you more for doing shorter, more damaging combos versus longer and more extended combos that end with something big. Because your super's not going to do anything at the end of that combo. Now, to quickly talk about Awakenings, Awakenings do alter the way your combos generally work in this game. So, for example, Goku here normally can't do a fully charged Kamehameha wave off of his combos, but he gains access to instant transmission Kamehameha, so that allows him to open up his combos a little bit more. But this is only in Super Saiyan, by the way. Blue alters it a bit more, so we're going to talk about this first. And there we go. Could be more damage, I would say. One other thing you want to remember is when you're actually doing rounds. If you do a round system, your transformation carries over to the next round. So bear that in mind for future reference. Now, if I were to go Super Saiyan Blue, my combo structure changes a little bit more because when I'm in this, my fully charged Kamehameha actually pops the opponent up backwards. This does not happen with regular Goku. It actually just popped him straight back. So for example, this becomes possible. 2 command melee waves in 1 combo. Yeah, that's fun. So yeah, some transformations in this game allow you to have altered properties. If it's a generic boost, it generally won't really do that, but a full transformation like this, it has a chance to alter some properties, so you want to experiment with that, see what the differences are between like Super Saiyans or what Naruto would do or what Ichigo would do, etc, etc. Oh, and obviously when you're under a full awakening, you naturally do more damage as well. Yeah, it's a good grip amount more damage. That's like over a third of his life bar with one basic combo that didn't do nearly that much with base Goku. So yeah, keep these in mind for when you're going forward. It will definitely shape up the way your combos work in the long run. And also, another thing you want to remember is that when you do ultimates with your characters, they do way more damage with awakened versus not awakened. That's not a scaling thing or a multiplier thing. That's just like a straight up coded thing into the game. I'm not sure what's up with that. I guess it makes sense, sort of. So for example, with Goku here, if I were to fully awaken and I were to do a Super Spirit Bomb, the damage before was about like 10 to 20% of his health. It's gonna do a lot more now. Yeah, that's a good amount more. If you do awakening coupled with your more advanced combos, you're gonna start chipping off 50 to 60% of his life bar. And yes, I've already mentioned this earlier, but you can in fact combo into your ultimate. It's not too hard to do. If you follow like basic structures, you'll be able to squeeze it in no problem. I've already shown it off with Madara before, but just to quickly clarify, his basic combo structure into like something like this. This will actually work because ultimates have a very fast activation. So as a result, there's a lot of flexibility in that. Just bear in mind the combo scaling is kind of up there. Yeah, it's that bad. Okay, so now with that covered, we're going to move on to something a little more intermediate level. We're going to talk about assists. So assists are pretty much like fighters or Marvel, where you can use them to either cover your approach or, in this case, extend your combos. We're going to be using 2 of the best, what people generally consider the best assists in the game. I heard Toguro is climbing the ranks pretty quickly, so going to keep that in mind for later. But anyway, Piccolo's assist is generally considered one of the best assists in the game. It's huge lockdown. It allows for some ridiculous combo extensions because, I mean, just look how long this beam freaking lasts. I could do like I could go walk out to the kitchen, make myself like a grilled cheese sandwich, come back, and still have time to punch him in the face. That's pretty decent. Rukia's got something similar as well, so that's all well and good. Now, these assists are considered very combo friendly. Some assists in the game do allow for something similar to it, like Goku's Kamehameha Wave, various other things that have multiple hits of hit stun. So, something you can generally do that's really cool with these assists in mind is that you can highly extend combos, obviously. Another thing you can do is that you can combo into things that are normally difficult to combo into. One of them being, well, at the time of writing this guide, I actually found out that you can do it differently, but it's a little hard to do normally, which is comboing to change the future, or final impact, I guess, in this game. So for example, normally if you do this, the move is a little too slow to combo off the sliding knockdown. There are ways to do this, but just for this comparison's sake. However, if you were to do a couple hits with Trunks, and then call Piccolo's assist, you have enough time in order to actually go right to change the future. Is it an optimal enter? Probably not. But the fact that you can actually do it by itself it's not too horrible. And in fact, while I have these 2 assists on tap, I actually do want to try something for myself. Yeah, you can do fully charged special beam cannon with Piccolo using the Rukia assist. Rukia's assist, to give a visual illustration, it is very similar to Piccolo's. Oops, that's a shift. Yeah, it is essentially very similar to Piccolo's. Probably a little longer hit stun, but I've had drop port combos before. But yeah, no, if you're to do this standard combo route with Piccolo into Rukia's assist, you can do a fully charged special beam cannon if you don't drop the combo. Yeah, something equivalent to that. So, those are some of the examples you can get off assist. I've seen various combo videos where people do upwards combos and then use Ruki's assist or Piccolo in order to keep them pinned in the air for extended periods of time. That's not fully necessary here. There's various other means you can do with alt assist, but again, I've only just recently wrapped up my stream, so I'm not fully familiar with what those are. But bear in mind that going forward, if you want to mess around with your character, if you want to find various routes that can further extend your combos relatively easily, these are some beginning options for you if you so choose to go that route. Now, just a quick little addendum at the end of this. One thing I do want to say that I've learned recently after writing this script is that you can't tack on multiples of like the same part structures in a combo if you use an assist to extend it. For example, like if I were to do lights with Trunks and then go into heavies and use Piccolo's assist, if I try to do lights again, it'll drop like automatically. They turn invincible, drop to the ground. I can't do anything else. If I were to do this into heavies and then try to do it, assuming Piccolo wants to come out, period, Jesus. If I were to try to go up for heavies again, oh, I guess I actually did go through. Well, some things are more subject to that than others. I've had Goku drop multiple times where he's trying to do a down combo, and it just did not end up going through. So keep that in mind. There are certain rules and restrictions on how you can extend combos using your assists. That's generally a good thing. However, one thing you can do, I've seen this before, various characters, you can, if you keep your combo going long enough, you can actually use the same assist multiple times in the same combo. For example, like if I were to do a combo and use Piccolo's assist, if I keep it going long enough, the charger can actually go fully down, and now I'll be clear to do his again. So, yeah, if you're really looking to exploit this game, do that. But again, if you're doing this in serious matches, you have to contend with the substitution meter / stamina meter. I mean, I'm not wrong. Alright guys, let's go ahead and do it. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two about Jump Force's combo structure. If you're jumping into this game for the first time, just know that this game does have a community. It's just not very active. Yeah, so the game is fairly flexible. You'll probably have a decent time of it, and yeah, enjoy yourself.